Hey, good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. We're getting started right at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right on the dot as usual. If you're new to the live stream, awesome. Welcome. If you're returning to the live stream, even better. Good to see you back on here. On the first half of the live stream, we will cover Bitcoin, altcoins, stocks, and anything else on the watch list that jumps out at us. And in the second half of the live stream, we will cover your chart requests. Just make sure to put in all the details. Put in the ticker symbol. Let me know if it's crypto or stock, because if I can't search for it quickly, then I probably won't cover it. If there's not a ton of chart history, I probably can't add any value. So just keep all things considered. Keep it in mind so that we can keep the live streaming. But hopefully everyone had a good evening last night, good morning today so far, and we're gonna get rocking and rolling. Bitcoin is down 70% versus gold. Oof, 70% versus gold. And if we look back over here, Bitcoin versus gold dropped 76%. 76% from wick to wick, 76. Wick to wick, we're at 70% so far. So we'll continue to watch it unfold in real time. Where we at? DB Jester 3481. I'm not sure if I definitely messed that up. Good morning. Good morning. Long time market sniper in the house. J.O. Let's go. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Don't let the profile mislead you. London, UK, not so sexy news, aka Lawrence. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, Lawrence. Thank you for always sharing the stream, reposting, commenting on both apps, not just YouTube, but also X. I appreciate that. Help me, help you, help me with algorithms. ETS 1026. Good morning. Can we take a look at Acadia Healthcare, ACHC on that? Yes. This is the exact comment that we need. If you want me to chart your request, this is exactly, follow this script. We need the ticker symbol. ETS 1026 put in 95% chance you're a male. according to my analytics, 95% chance you're a male. But he put in the name, the ticker symbol, and NASDAQ. Thank you. So that helps. It helps. But we'll circle back on it later. We're gonna cover Bitcoin. We're gonna cover it all today. Daily chart, weekly chart, 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart, all of that. But and we're gonna actually circle back Bitcoin versus gold, and we're gonna go to gold, Bitcoin versus the dollar first. And let's start over here. And actually, let's leave that. And come over here. There we go. This is the Heikin Ashi weekly chart. For visual purposes, you can kind of see that it was getting overbought, right? And then went into the bear market, started to get oversold. Oops. Don't mind that. Sell signal, bear market, started to get oversold and remain oversold, right? All the way until we were buying the dip at 16,800 on January 4th, 2023. So what do we always say? Buy the right dip. Here we are again. It was getting overbought. Sell signal, bear market, starting to get oversold and can remain oversold. So just want to kind of point that out. But let's go into candles. Not that one. We'll come back to that one. Here we are. Quick recap. If you're new and you're not sure, I post on X all the time with all the receipts of the charts. But the quick recap is October 8th, we posted the Wyckoff distribution at 123,700. All the Wyckoff experts missed it. The Wycoffians missed it. Like, where's your volume profile? Well, just because I put out a basic chart of Wyckoff distribution with the schematic doesn't mean I was going to put all the details on it, because, you know, the chart gets cluttered, right? But all the Wyckoff experts missed it. And here we are posting our first Wyckoff chart ever, and it nailed it, right? It nailed the Wyckoff chart. And the way I drew it out was almost identical to the way it played out, right? We don't have a magic crystal ball, but we just try to think about, like, max pain situations. We try to think about how price has moved in the past, how it can move in the future. And we do a lot of speculating on this channel. It's pure speculation. Not pure speculation. It's a lot of speculation, but we try to stack probabilities in our favor, blah, blah, blah. And we'll continue to do that on every live stream. And for the most part, we are more right than we are wrong, right? Right. So anyways, then on October 10th, there was a sell signal on the daily chart. Prices are breaking down. And I posted the Bitcoin bear market roadmap on the weekly chart and put all these targets on it that we're going to see on the next you'll see on the next weekly chart. So I'll show it to you. Over here, we're talking about end of October. This could be the last time you could sell your Bitcoin at $110,000 for a while. And what did I mean by a while? A couple of years, right? A couple of years. And here we are 4 months later, still remains true that was the last time you could have sold your Bitcoin at $110,000. Everyone else is calling for new all-time highs. Everyone else was calling for in October still. Maybe not everyone, but there's a few of us that were not. But I was talking about that all these talking heads predictions of $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025 would be wrong. And in hindsight, I was right. And then we talked about it. Expect bounces, expect a relief rally, expect a relief rally, expect a relief rally. Over here, after that big wick, I put out this target over here. This target had two market sniper targets within this box. The exact same two targets that were in 2022. So the March, April 2022 relief rally, price hit both of those market sniper targets. And so I put this box out here that had both market sniper targets within them back here. And it took a while. It took about 54 days from wick to wick. And in the previous 2022 bear market, it was 63 days. And I pointed that out on X as well. So it was 9 days faster, but it hit the exact same two targets, then started to roll over. And then we were talking about over here, the probabilities will increase if we see a candle close below the trailing dots, below the upward sloping trend line, and the sell signal all hit on the same daily candle, right? And then, of course, it went sideways. Over here, we talked about at $81,000. We could see a very fast move down to 66,000. Not because I have a magic crystal ball, but I talked about the opposite of a short squeeze. We could have a long squeeze because there was billions of long liquidations from 81,000 to 66,000. And in hindsight, that was true again. We went down to 66,000 very quickly. We stayed there for a day, right? And at 66,000 talked about there's hundreds of millions, if not maybe close to $1 billion in long liquidations all the way down to 58,000, right? Price came all the way down below 60,000, depending on what exchange you're looking at. Call it 60,000. The wick started to push back up. And then we posted the squiggly lines. and we did this on the live stream. Let Bitcoin consolidate. Let the trending dots catch up. The trending dots were at 84,000 at the time. Let the trending dots catch up. Let Bitcoin consolidate. Retest the trending dots. Price got very close to it, but didn't actually touch the trending dots. Of course, I could change the settings on the trending dots and make it look like I'm better than I am, because I could have changed the period from 21 to 20 and it would have hit it, right? But I don't do that. I don't do that. I just left it at 21. So, and then price started to break down yesterday, came down to 63, below 64,000, and then today so far below $63,000. And we have the main thesis over here was that price was going to retest the 200-week SMA, the blue line, before it made a new all-time high. And we put that chart out on October 10th. And we talked about it. Squiggly lines then break down. There's hundreds of millions of long liquidations all the way down to the blue line and all the way down to 56,000. So, and then of course, I'm sure some shorts will try to pile on late, push the price down, and we'll see if it gets down into this target area. Maybe by the end of February, which is 4 days away, maybe the first week of March. You know, we don't know the exact timing of it. This was just an idea that was laid out multiple weeks ago, right? So that's where we're at right now. We're still going to cover the weekly chart, 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart, and everything in between on altcoins, NASDAQ, SP 500. We can take a look at gold, silver, MicroStrategy, Magnificent Seven, all that. So, but before we do, we've never taken $1 of affiliate money. So you can find the website on either Market Sniper Pro or Jesse Olson profile as the same. And we updated the website. We only have one selection. It truly was the most popular at $49. So we got rid of the $29 and the $9 plans. And then about 20% of people take advantage of the annual plan. Comes out to like $40 a month. That's insane, right? For everything that you get, AI says that we should be charging $199 a month. We have our own charting system. We still use TradingView as a bridge. We still use Discord as a bridge, but we have our own online community as well built into the website portal. So you don't have to go on Discord, but you can, and you get access immediately. Dashboard, setups, bot suite, recorded coaching. We have 70 plus hours of recorded coaching on there. The community, like I talked about, and then of course plans. And then you go into the portal. This is our charting system. You can see we've got indicators. We've got the sniper. We recreated the sniper indicators. Yes, we still have them on TradingView, but we've also rebuilt them into our backend portal, all Python code. So TradingView is PineScript code. We had to recreate it. So you can search by sniper only, or all. You could do all, or by trend, momentum, all that stuff. And then we have auto trend lines. I didn't draw this trend line here. This is an auto trend line. I only drew this one here, obviously, because that's just a ghost fractal. But auto-drawn trend lines on RSI, divergences, gaps, right? So if you look over here on gaps, it automatically does the gap for you. So if you look on QQQ, it's got the gap here. It's already doing it. SPY, it's got the gap. TQQQ, QQQQQQ. This is the weekly chart, but daily chart, you got a gap. Go to the daily chart, it's going to find more gaps, most likely. QQQ, you probably just got to zoom out there, find some more gaps, right? So It'll pull up gaps on the daily and the weekly chart so you can see it and zoom out. Again, I did not draw these trend lines. These are auto-drawn trend lines. So you come over here, put on the Sniper RSI, right? Come over here, and you could do this is the screener, but the screener goes from 4,060 results, and then you can add the filter, say RSI divergence, right? And that's the daily chart. Or you could change it to the weekly chart, and you've got two things that come up. Or you can switch it to bearish. So you got bearish divergence, right? There's so many ways you can set it up. So you can add additional filters. You can do the RSI bullish and MACD bullish divergence together. The consolidation I really like. And then, of course, you can build out some of the strategy alerts. These are brand new, so we're going to still be adding to those and creating them over time. But this is the direction that we're continuing to go. News, not very interested in, but we have it. We have some ideas on news alerts, log trade, and of course, AI Assist is coming soon, right? Jesse, let's get after it. So we've trained the AI on 70 plus hours of recorded coaching and 7,500 plus Discord posts over the years, analyzing my charts and videos. So all good stuff. And then, of course, you've got the online portal, and then you've got the recorded coaching videos. So just want to point that out. So that's where we're at. Let's jump into the weekly chart. Weekly chart. This was the Bitcoin bear market roadmap that was put out on October 10th. Here we are. 1 target, 2 target, 3, 4 target more. I was reading Dr. Seuss this morning to my daughter when she woke up. So got the tongue twisters ready to go. The one I was reading to her last night was so hard. It's the socks one. That one's hard. Like it gets harder and harder, and then it becomes by the end of the book, it's such a tongue twister, and you're like tired of like doing the tongue twisting by then. So it really trips you up. But she loves it. Good afternoon, Caesar. Welcome back. Marcus Stamper in the house. So we never expected the fractal to play out exactly 2022, but it's still playing out eerily similar. Eerily similar. Had the big initial drop, relief rally, and now the next big drop, and then the slow bleed / bullish divergence is still a possibility. So the one thing I want to point out is it's happening faster, right? It's happening faster. So whereas this fractal was projecting to be at these prices in April, we're in February. So we don't expect it to play out exactly the same, but very similar on the big drop, relief rally, and then big drop, relief rally, drop. So we're still watching it, getting closer and closer to that 200-week moving average, which was the main thesis. So I have the magnet there. Target 4 lines up with it. Target 5 down here was hit in 2022. So we'll see if that happens or not. It makes a lot of sense for the Bitcoin ETFs to retest the January 2024 all-time lows. That's why I have the blue line on there. Price would be below $40,000 if it were to do that. We don't know if it will or not. It's just pure speculation, but we've been pure speculating since October 10th, October 8th, and here we are. This week is projecting out. It's early. It just started. But this week is projecting out to be the lowest weekly candle close since September 2024. And we're back to the same price as it was April 2021. And for a brief moment, it was almost March 2021, right? So chalk up another reason why I don't hodl for 6 years, because we're racing against inflation, right? We are racing against inflation. You have to outpace inflation. And if you bought in March or April 2021, you're negative against inflation right now. So, you know, that's why I'm a swing trader. That's why I choose to buy the right dip, because you'd be up 2 to 4% if you bought in March of 2021, minus inflation over 5 years. They say it's 3%. They say it was 9%. They say, depending on what it was. So even if you just take 3%, multiply that by, 5 years, minus the 2% you're up. Simple math is saying you're underwater against inflation. So, and the unpopular belief, the unpopular thought is that the true value of an asset, whether it's Bitcoin, NASDAQ, whatever, is the 200-week SMA, in my opinion. That is the true value, because once price goes up multiple deviations from it or below it, usually comes back to retest it. So you can see Bitcoin's upslope this entire time. Pumped up, came down. Pumped up, is coming back down, right? So you could argue that that's the true value of the asset, is price is coming back to the 200-week SMA, right? And here we are. Here we are. Unpopular, because everyone wants to go to $1 million. Okay, well, it could go to $1 million, but look how long it's taken to go from this pivot point down here at 22,000 to this pivot point here at 58,000. Over 1,365 days, Bitcoin has increased $36,000. So how many is that? From 2022 low, that's 4 years. 4 years. And it's gone up how much? 36,000. So what is that? $9,000 per year. But they love calling it the super cycle. They love calling $1 million Bitcoin, right? So if that were to project out, and it's getting lesser to the upside and lesser to the downside, right? So far, right? That could always change. If you just project out the 200-week moving average, right? By 2030, the SMA would be, say, $100,000. So if it came down, if it kept doing what it's doing now, right? And then comes back up, and it comes back up, makes new all-time high, right? Puts in bearish divergence again. Right? Then it's still true value, in my opinion, is right there. And that would be another 4 years at $9,000 a year. So if you owned one full Bitcoin, assuming you buy the right dip down here, that's a lot better return than buying tops and just holding for 10 years, right? Nowadays, you could have done that back in 17 or earlier, but we're in a new era now. We're in a new era. So anyways, what I'm saying is the true value is a 200-week moving average, in my opinion. And once it goes multiple deviations above, price comes back, right? So could it go to $1 million? Sure, it could, but this is the trajectory that it's been on. The flip side of that, can you look at the stock AR? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. For sure. I'll circle back. The flip side is that what if that was the super cycle? And what if there was a .com like or a 2008 like crash? Then it could look completely different. And the 200-week moving average could go in a downward sloping motion like Ethereum, like Chainlink, like Cardano. Um, like UNH, United Health, right? It could. Or like Bitcoin versus gold. So that's where we're going to tie all this back in is Bitcoin versus gold. And I'll show you the downward sloping 200. And I've been saying you don't want to see a downward sloping 200-week moving average on Bitcoin versus the dollar because that's going to be a prolonged bear market. Never in the history of Bitcoin versus the dollar has there been a downward sloping 200-week moving average. Never. So you definitely wouldn't want to see that if you're a permanent hodler. Never in the history of Bitcoin versus gold has there ever been a downward sloping 200-week moving average. And guess what? There is now. There is now. So this time is different with Bitcoin versus gold. Hodlers do not want to see this time is different with Bitcoin versus the dollar. So we'll cover it. We'll get into it. We'll cover it. So was that the super cycle and now we go in a prolonged bear market? It's possible. I don't think that happens unless the overall markets go into a bigger correction like 2008 or .com. If it's more of a 2022 correction, then I think we hit target 4, target 5, and then we look for to buy the right dip around the same areas. That's what I actually hope for. But there's always that chance that it could go into a bigger, deeper correction um, because of the overall indices are also in a bigger correction. So uh, that's the weekly chart. It's still bearish. 2-week chart, still bearish. Red trending dots all the way down. The red trending dots on the 2-week chart also crossed the 200-week moving average. So if you're looking for timing, it's possible the red trending dots cross again, and that trajectory brings it out to August or later, right? Weekly chart also crossed the 200-week moving average back in September and remained downward, right? So the trajectory of the weekly also brings it down to like June 2026. So the bottom is not in. The bottom is not in. Obviously, not financial advice. Obviously, for educational purposes only, and hopefully have a little bit of entertainment along the way. Making fun of me. What was the multiple return? Just measure it out. I think it was like 1,000 from wick to wick. I think it was about 1,000% roughly. Depends what bottom, but if you're looking at from the bottom, 2,300%. COVID bottom, 1,500%. So, but it's not like you would have caught all of that, right? So if you would have caught like, the daily chart breaking out down here and you lock in 600 or 700%, right? So don't expect to catch wick to wick. I don't. I try to capture 80% of the move, 10% from the bottom, 10% from the top. The dialed in goal is 5 to 8% of the bottom, just like we did in. That's what I want to catch at the bottom here, buying the right dip. The bottom minus 5 to 8%. That's what I did January 4th, 2023. 16,800 was right within that 5 to 8% sweet spot. So that's where we're at on Bitcoin. Let's see. That was a 2-week chart, 3-week chart. Let's take a look at it. The 3-week chart trading dots also went below the 200-week moving average. And that happened back in January. So it's quite possible that by the time the 3-week chart gets down here, we're already back in an uptrend, right? So that'll be interesting to watch. So buckle up. We've got time. Monthly chart, the trending dots also went below the 200-week moving average, but that didn't happen until mic check, July 2023, right? So it was already back into an uptrend by the time that the trending dots crossed, and then of course crossed back over. What else? HODL, no thanks. If price comes back down here, if price comes back down to the new all-time low from January 2024 at $11, Bitcoin would be at $39,000. When we were talking about the head and shoulders pattern up here on the lower time frame, like the daily chart, we talked about, hey, if HODL comes down here and starts filling these gaps like it did, Bitcoin would be at like $70,000, $67,000. In hindsight, that was true. So we are getting closer and closer. And I think it's quite possible that, and logical, it seems quite logical that Bitcoin HODL ETF would come back down and retest the all-time low from January 2024. That makes a lot of sense to me. And there are gaps along the way. So we'll see. I don't think it happens today. I don't think it happens tomorrow. I think it takes time for it to play out. And we'll be here for it. Bitcoin futures, Bitcoin, we already have the Bitcoin versus gold. So a couple things I wanted to point out over here. Bitcoin versus gold. First time in history of Bitcoin versus gold, we have a downward sloping 200-week moving average. That's not good. That's not bullish. That's just because something is never, like, it's been more bearish than it's ever been before with certain things, does not mean it's bullish that the bottom is in. It just means it's more bearish than it's ever been before, right? And price is catching up to that data, right? In the history of Bitcoin versus gold, this is the lowest RSI monthly reading we've ever seen, 34.2. And just because it hit 40 for the first time ever does not mean that was bullish. It means it was more bearish than it's been in the past on a monthly chart. And it continues to go down lower. And it's quite possible we don't see a low until October 2026. So it broke this 11-year downward trend line. And then it broke, I keep taking it off the chart because it clutters it, but also broke this 7-year downward trend line. That's not bullish, that's bearish. So it's quite possible it does something similar to 2022, where it's like a double bottom, but the low doesn't come in till later. So we'll see how that plays out. If it's low, battles, remains bearish, comes down, puts in another low, October 2026, and then maybe it starts to reverse back around. That would be the bullish case. Would not want it to see it get rejected and come back down. And this is no longer the case, right? So I don't think that happens, but it's always a possibility, and that's why I wait to buy the right dip. From this low to this low was 48 months. From this low to this low was 47 months. From this low to this low would be 46 months. Is this time going to be different? It could be. It could be. So we're going to continue to watch it unfold. We had bearish divergence. We had the lower high on the monthly chart, and it's been a downward trend ever since, right? Downward trend ever since. Bitcoin versus gold. Looking at it, so the RSI, the lowest it's ever been, and first time in Bitcoin versus gold history, the downward sloping 200-week moving average. You do not, if you're a perma bull and you're a hodler, you do not want to see that Bitcoin versus the dollar. Otherwise, it's going to be most likely it's going to be a prolonged bear market that we've never seen before. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin stocks, Iron, Cypher, pick one if you want me to take a look at it. We have those on the watch list. So pick one if you want me to take a look at it. Just pick one and we can chart it. And what about it? Like, give me the details on it. So that's Bitcoin versus gold. Bitcoin versus the euro, already tagged the SMA. It's weaker against the euro. And the thought is because the dollar was crashing. So Bitcoin didn't crash harder. But the dollar is stabilizing as of right now. So that's why we're seeing Bitcoin drop further as well. So if you look at the daily chart, Cypher. Okay. Oh, it is? Okay. I didn't know that. It's moving out of. Ooh, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign for Bitcoin. There are so many Bitcoin and crypto influencers pivoting to AI right now. Huge accounts that have always only been Bitcoin or altcoins. They're pivoting one by one into AI. What's IA? What's IA? Oh, like AI data center? Oh man. Everyone's it just seems like all the big influencers. Oh yeah. That is the narrative right now that I'm seeing across several large influencer accounts pivoting to AI. They were Bitcoin and altcoins only, and now they even say obsessed with AI in their profile, which is interesting. So I'm seeing that more and more and more that the big influencers are pivoting from Bitcoin and altcoins, and they're talking about AI. Is that a sign of the times? Even in the last bear market, we never saw that. So truly is the AI is running the narratives right now. So, and then I'm projecting myself that in AI narrative continues to dominate probably till like 2030, and then maybe we start seeing like quantum computers dominate, and or with AI would be crazy. So, whoo. But here we are. Here we are. Here we are. We're still swing trading. Let's get into see the monthly chart on XRP. Here, let's go over here. XRP weekly chart. Almost hit the 200-week SMA. It looks like it did in hindsight now, but at the time, it's very close. So I still have the magnet there. Ethereum, downward sloping 200-week moving average. That's not good for Ethereum. That's not bullish. Just because it's on discount, just because it's on 65% discount, does not mean that's bullish. It's a downward sloping 200-week SMA for the first time in Ethereum's history against the dollar. That's not bullish. Chainlink, downward sloping 200-week moving average. Bear market since 2021. That's not bullish. Cardano, Algo, HBAR, XLM, Near, just to name a few. MicroStrategy. This fractals from 21, 22 to 23. Take a quick breather here for a second. The canary in the coal mine for Bitcoin, MSTR, aka strategy. We talked about it in the last bear market. We talked about it at certain times in the bull run of being the canary in the coal mine. And then we talked about it again this bear market. Before Bitcoin went into its bear market, we talked about the canary in the coal mine, MicroStrategy being in a bear market. We talked about, is the top in when the daily candle reversed hard to the downside, bearish engulfing candle. In hindsight, the top was in. And we saw the Adam and Eve double top pattern. We got the fractal out. Over here, we're talking about it, bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart. Same time Bitcoin was breaking down the weekly chart. Many were calling for $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. I said, many influencers are calling for $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year, while MicroStrategy is in a bear market, while MicroStrategy is breaking down in real time, while MicroStrategy is the canary in the coal mine. I said, that's cute. That is cute. That you think Bitcoin's going to $250,000 while MicroStrategy is in a bear market. It was the canary coal mine. It still was the canary in the coal mine. And hopefully it still is the canary in the coal mine in the future. That would be great. We can still use it to our advantage on swing trading. Woo-wee. Come on. Come on. This fractal says we could come down and hit that Adam and Eve double top pattern at $80-ish. Says that we could have a relief rally, another drop, bounce, drop again, maybe even put in bullish divergence, and buying the right dip October 2026 again, still quite the possibility. Also possible to wick down and take out these levels down here. Could be crazy. Could be crazy. So that's MicroStrategy. What else? Gold. This fractal is from over here. Over here, many were calling for the Bitcoin, for the gold top is in, and they were hoping that gold would flow into Bitcoin. We saw it. We saw it. And I said, higher time frames are ultra bullish on gold. And so it's still buy the dip season, in my opinion. And then gold went on to hit $5,600. Over here, the Bitcoin bulls were calling for gold to go into a bear market, and that gold would flow, money would flow from gold to Bitcoin, right? And we put out this fractal from over here because the higher time frames remain bullish. Could the top be in? Sure. Would we see a lower high first? Yes. Could we see bearish divergence first? Yes. Would that mean higher prices? Yes. Could we have bearish divergence lasting weeks? Yes. Could we have bearish divergence lasting months? Yes. So those are all possibilities. It's bullish until it's not. If you look at the weekly chart, this is kind of talking about, if you're looking at weeks or months of bearish divergence, it could take a while to play out, right? It could take a while. The weekly chart remains ultra bullish. Here. The 2-week chart remains ultra bullish. Like I've been saying, I am not shorting this. I have no reason to short this right now. 3-week chart, I'm also not chasing, right? 3-week chart remains ultra bullish. Could the top be in? Yeah, the top could be in. But it's too early to call it right now. Monthly chart is ultra bullish. And the daily chart is bullish. So, that's where we are at right now in gold. Silver, similar thoughts. Dollar. We drew this out weeks ago, a month ago. Could see a drop, bounce, drop, squiggly lines, and then we possibly see a bigger move to the upside. So we'll see if that happens or not. But it's bullish on the daily chart. Still bearish on the weekly chart. So that's why it could take some time to play out. Trending dots are up here at 98.3-ish. It tells me, Jesse. 98.276, right? I always estimate it with the eyeball test, and then I forget that I could just look over here. I do that every day. Some things aren't going to change, right? It's okay. What else? Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe. So that's the dollar. What else? No, cipher, right? Crowd. Okay. Greetings, sweet canary 3006. What's up? What's up? What's up? Um, cipher. Since we're already here, usually I go down the list in order, but cipher, you got daily chart. Bum, bum. Negative earnings. Weekly chart has a red trending dot. Two-week chart bouncing off the trending dots right now. 3-week chart. Monthly chart. It's not a ton of history on it, but finally has a 200-week moving average down there at $5. But it's currently by the dip season with caution because Bitcoin's in a bear market. But like you said that it switched to AI. So trade each chart individually, but the caution is that it's still Bitcoin is in a bear market. The weekly chart has multiple closes below the trending dots, red trending dot. So it's a caution. Could it break out and then just put in a lower high and dump back down? Sure. So, but there is a pending buy signal uh, above the trending dots, while the higher time frames are bullish. So it's not interesting for me, but maybe it is for you. And it is possible. Maybe even puts in a double top or bearish divergence. So it's just a caution with the weekly chart right now. What else? What else? Oop. Magnificent Seven. Catching a bounce across the board. Catching a bounce. Tesla, Russell, Nvidia still sideways, but there's that miniature gap up there. Dow Jones maybe comes all the way back up to trending dots. SP 500. Let's see. SPY, Microsoft. Meta. Google. PLTR. UNH. See, downward sloping 200-week moving average. Huge drop. Huge drop. 61% in a short period of time. Woo-wee. If United Healthcare can drop that fast, imagine what crypto could do. right? So keep that in mind. Downward sloping 200-week moving average for the first time since 2008. There we go. First time a downward sloping 200-week moving average for United Health Group Incorporated since 2008. See, price went down wick to wick, almost 79%. Call it 77, 78%, right? So far, it's currently down 63% drop so far. So that's where we're at there. What else? What else? So now we'll do some of the chart requests. Let's go over here. Scroll back to the top. So the monthly chart is bearish. And while the monthly chart is bearish, it could take time for the momentum to turn back around, right? It could take time for the momentum to get turned back around. The momentum is to the downside. The momentum is to the downside on the monthly chart. So do I think price goes to negative $2.63? No. The purpose of this is that you can see how long it takes to find a bottom. Even if this is the bottom, could come back up, retest the trailing dots, drop back down, and it wasn't the bottom. Come back up, retest trailing dots. Ooh, maybe this is a higher low. Come back up, lower high, drop again, right? You can see how spaced out the trailing dots are, and they're starting to close the gap a little bit. They were spaced out, but then it consolidated and consolidated and got tighter and wound up tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. It took time. It took a long time, right? This would be like a multi-year bear market if it were to play out similarly, right? So it's a caution. The daily chart is bullish, but it could just be a dead cat bounce, could be a relief rally. There's a fairly large gap here, $40, right? There's a gap up here, but the momentum is so bearish right now. This seems like it wouldn't get filled for a very, very, very long time. There's a gap here underneath the 200. So is this the bottom? Maybe, but the momentum is so bearish on the higher time frames right now. It could remain bearish. So expect bounces to continue to get sold off as of right now. All other higher time frames are bearish. So whether that's going sideways and or continue to make lower highs and lower lows. So that's the way I kind of see it. Still well below the you're below the trailing dots over here, the 2-week chart, 3-week chart, all that stuff. So bearish. It's in a bear market. Mhm. Currently in a lower. It's probably gonna be similar thoughts. Like, is this the bottom? Maybe, but the higher time frames are probably really bearish. Yeah, you're definitely going against the overall longer term trend. The monthly chart is really bearish. I mean, almost identical to what we just covered on the ACHC. So no need to go talk about it exactly, but you know, the daily chart is trying to be bullish. Price is definitely or price is currently not definitely. Price is currently below the trending dots. Weekly chart is trying to get back above the trending dots, but all higher time frames are bearish. So could it eventually fill this gap? Yes, but when? I don't know. Could it go through, you know, and chop you to smithereens? Yes. Could it continue to be put in lower highs and lower lows? Yes. All is true. So it's either really early or it's just a bounce, and maybe that was the bounce. And maybe it chops sideways to let all the higher time frames start to build momentum and catch back up, but it's going to take time. So just be aware that try not try not to get chopped up, right? So That's that. What else? Yep, covered that one. Covered that one. Crowd. Mm-hmm. Crowds entering a bear market or entered a bear market. So confirmation is this monthly candle, right? Obviously, candle closes below the trending dots, right? So it's not a positive. That's a negative unless you're shorting it. So weekly sell signals back in December. That was a top in November. And the probabilities continue to increase that price is going to retest the 200 SMA and or go below it. So ONDS. These are late requests, by the way. Usually I don't cover them if we were getting late requests, but you could always. And yeah, and I already got one for you. So remind me tomorrow if you want me to look at that one. ONDS Nasdaq. Running out of steam over here. Weekly chart is bullish. There was bearish divergence, so a correction of that huge move up. It looks like a big move at least on this chart. Yeah, 2,500%. So maybe the top is in, right? Maybe the top is in, right? So that was a massive bounce, and the top could be in. So daily chart, weekly chart, 2-week chart, bearish divergence. Probably come back, retest the training dots. 3-week chart, bearish divergence. Monthly chart, bearish engulfing candle on the monthly chart. So that was a massive bounce. Now it just seems like it wants to go through a correction phase. So currently bearish on the daily chart. That could be the top. There's bearish divergence here. So ETH, BTC, I haven't looked at that one in a while. Where is it there? Downward sloping 200-week moving average. Not good for Ethereum against Bitcoin. Wow. So that's that. Woo. Let's see. Bitcoin, 64,000. Yes, the bottom is in. Again. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. There we go. See if Bitcoin will hit the 200-week SMA at 58,370 by the end of February or the first week of March, whatever it is. And we'll continue to see how we sniper the markets together. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boom, 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 boom. That's the daily chart. What else? think we're going to call it here. So with that, we covered it all. Bitcoin versus gold is down 70%. So that's where we're at. Hopefully, everyone has a good rest of your day. Have a good evening, and we will see you on the next live stream. Thank you for always supporting, reposting, restreaming, liking, commenting, all of that. Help me, help you, help me with the algorithms. Appreciate it. And we'll continue to sniper the markets together. And we'll see you tomorrow. Adios.